Just a bloke in a bar.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of Bloke in a Bar, brought to you by its very own beer. Tell me another podcast that has its very own beer. I can't find one. I don't know one. Also, tell me another beer that has its own sports network. Talk about loving sport. Talk about being the beer of sport. Grab a case from your local. Go to blokeinabar.com. Put in your postcode, and it will show you the closest independent liquor retail salesman of liquor. That is that is close. That is close to you. Anyway, grab a case of Bloke in a Bar so I can get some speech lessons, please. But we have the great Reed Marnie here. What is going on, brother?
How you going, bro? Good.
What's the off season been like for you? You know, obviously we're just talking about being in Queensland and how eventually you want to be away in your own bed. What's the off season been like?
No, it's been pretty good. Very
Yep.
busy. Went to a few different places and had plenty of beers. And because we're obviously in Queensland,
Yeah.
or every other, all the boys are always somewhere. Like we went to Noosa, and then 5 of the boys turned up there, and then
You'd like run into them
Yeah,
like,
like-
oh fuck, there's fucking.
like you'd see them post and be like, oh, I'm here too. And then
Good,
next
good.
minute you're at the surf club and it's 40 beers deep and
Yep,
it's a Wednesday night.
mate. How
But
good's
no,
that?
it was good. It's been good, but
Yeah.
obviously been away from home for so long.
Yeah.
It was about 4 months for me, which was fine because I had my family all live up there.
Yeah.
But then you get to a point you're like, nah, I need to go home and
Absolutely.
just get back into some sort of normality and a bit of routine. So,
Yep.
and obviously start training too. That would help. But
Mate, it's a double-edged sword because it's so good to be around the boys, but too much of anything,
Yeah.
especially the boys chipping you constantly. But it looks sick that you guys would finish training and you'd like walk straight onto like the ocean.
yeah, well,
You know?
like where we were staying was like very lucky in a way.
Yeah,
Obviously, I do our quarantine and stuff like that, and then Gold Coast had a breakout for a week. That was pretty shit at the time.
yeah,
But then once we moved to like our own apartments, like main beach, 100 meters from the beach, wake up in the morning,
yep.
like it was mad. So, and before I got the surgery, I hired a surfboard.
I was going to
Just
say, did
someone
any of the
else.
boys surf?
Oh, I don't know too many of the boys did.
Yeah.
But I definitely rang this guy and he dropped the surfboard off to me.
Yep,
And was doing a bit of surfing before I had my shoulder op.
yeah.
So try to get that done. And then obviously as soon as I got it, it started being mad surf out. I was like, this is shit.
Torture. There's nothing worse than like when you're at work or you've got something to do and you look outside and it's a beautiful day and you're just like, fuck, I could.
Yeah, I'm just sitting in there in a sling on endos, just
Oh.
going like, fuck.
just tired as because all the endanes are killing you. So like for you guys for the season, I believe although you didn't make it to the prelim like you were hoping, I believe you made massive strides compared to the season before. What was the end of the season like for you? You were injured, but as a squad, what was the feeling like around the boys?
No, it was good. Obviously, we obviously went away to Queensland. It happened all pretty quick.
Yeah.
So, and before that, we were going pretty well. I think we were sitting in the top 4 for the majority of the year.
Yeah,
And then we moved up there. We won against Titans, I think, and then we sort of went a bit MIA for a bit, which
Yeah.
it's your body. Like sometimes you just need a couple of weeks of just not being yourself. But then once the boys sort of clicked again,
yeah,
mate, the last couple of rounds were on fire. Like we beat the Storm. That was probably our biggest win of the year. Considering that we did beat them in round 2, but beating them that time of the year, going into the finals, that was huge for the boys.
absolutely.
And like just the atmosphere that we had at training and the boys, the confidence they got out of that
Yeah.
to go into the finals was huge. So like the boys did unreal. Obviously we wanted to go all the way, but it's just how footy goes sometimes, you know what I mean?
Mate,
So
It was
footy
so
gods,
close, so
the footy
close.
gods, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
A few things, give or take, or what happened.
Mm.
Like 2 points in a major semi is pretty good, you know
And
what
they
I
were
mean?
the ones that
And-
went on and won
and
the
they
grand
won
final.
it. Literally,
Yeah.
they won it. So, the boys did pretty
What was
well.
it like sitting on the sideline going, fuck, I wish I was out
Oh,
there?
mate, I think sometimes I just couldn't watch it.
Yeah,
I was
really?
obviously, we went to Queensland. When they played in Queensland, obviously went with them, like locally, Brisbane, Goldie. But then when they flying to Mackay and that, sitting there at like home watching
Yep.
it, it's like, bro, I just so shit. I
Right.
sort of got like, I don't know if I got worse as it went on or like better, but
Mm.
I'd be fine during the week, and then I'd get to game day, and then I'd be like,
Stinging.
fucking this.
Mate.
I've gone through my head going, did I really need it? Did I really need it? Did I really need it off? You know what I mean?
Absolutely,
So,
absolutely.
but
It's a tough one. Like you look at a guy like everyone's different and everyone's injury is different, but like you look at a guy like Cleary, he got through it somehow. I know yours was slightly different, and you have those questions of like maybe I should have just gutted it out.
Yeah.
But then if you had done that, you wouldn't have started the season until
probably could have made it worse or.
Yep.
So obviously a decision that I had to make.
Yeah.
But it was very hard to sit on the sideline. So obviously I tried to go to training. I went to training every day with the boys.
Yep.
Keep myself from going insane, sort of thing. So it's part of footy, you know what I mean? So
absolutely. So when you did your shoulder, you had already kind of done it. Like when you got injured the last time, it was already busted. Hey,
yeah. So I did it in round 13.
Yep.
Was my first time I dislocated it, and then obviously had rehabbed it for 6 weeks, and then played. I think I got 4 games out.
Yep.
And obviously the doctor said to me, "Look, what you've done is, it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
But we're going to allow you to do another 6 weeks. But if you do it again, you're going to have to get it operated on."
Yep.
So in my head, I'm like, yeah, sweet, I'll smash out the rehab. And the first few weeks was like, yeah, sweet, it's feeling all right, you know what I mean? And then just got caught in the wrong position, like awkwardly position, which can happen.
Yep.
And then, I felt it go again, and then it just, it got looser and looser. And that's why I was like so like emotional in the game, because like we weren't going as well as what we like. We were fighting to try and hold a top 4.
Yeah.
And then we're going like, we got to win. We need a win. And I did it again. And all I had in my head was the doctor just saying that to me. Like just going,
okay.
if you do it again, you're fucked, really.
It's like the nail in the coffin for you. There's no more hope of like,
and that's why I just sat on the sideline just going like, just soak it up.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. And then, so it was hard, but good people around you know what I mean? You get through it, but it was tough, man. It's tough.
Who was the biggest pest in the bubble?
Oh, mate, there was a few. Because
Really?
the first couple of weeks, bro, it was just the boys.
Yeah.
And like we had a mad time.
Yeah.
Because it was almost like, not a jail, but like temporary fencing.
Yeah.
That was around the resort. So you couldn't go in or out unless you're on the bus going to a game or going to the training field.
Yep.
And or to let the Uber Eats guy in. Mate, I reckon I was spending $500 on Uber Eats like a week, bro. And all the boys were the same because like hotel food, it's not great. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But we had like, Reggie was up there.
Yeah,
like,
the great
Reggie. Mitchell, the first few days, he was going insane. We're actually a bit worried for his health.
Oh, really?
Mitchie, he just was going insane. Like
couldn't cop it.
Yeah,
Needed to be free.
Yeah, just couldn't to do it. He's like, boys, fuck this. I'm gonna get out of here.
And the boys make it worse. Obviously, they
we did that, but we made like things fun. You know what I mean? On a Saturday, if we weren't playing or like we already played, we'd have the races on and have a couple of beers together, and
that's good.
Which was good.
Yeah.
We had like FIFA tournaments and like cash on the line.
Who's the king of FIFA?
Who actually did win? As much as I want to say it, the bloke that put the most money in, so it was like $1,000.
Yeah.
Like bet, like if you won it, 2 of you go 500 each, whatever.
Yeah.
And I think Mitchie donated the money, of course.
Oh, money bags, big contract, of course he did.
Anyway, and then he took it back.
Oh, that's fucked.
I think it was him and Isaiah. They won it. And
so they're the kings of FIFA.
Yeah, so they won.
So were you playing like 2v2s?
Yeah, 2v2.
Yeah, okay.
It was over like 3 nights.
Yeah.
Which was like good because like you get to night time and like you have a
So
day off the next
bored.
day.
Yeah.
You're like twiddling your thumbs.
Yeah.
Boys are obviously playing like PlayStation in their room, but like it wasn't as fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
And because it was only a small room, you don't want every fucking cunt in there.
Yeah.
So it's like, so you just got a sort of thing. And then we did like, every night we'd have like poker playing.
Yeah.
So
who's the poker king?
So poor Joey Lussick, he was the dealer for about 95% of the time.
No way.
So he actually did collect a fair bit of cash.
Oh, really? Okay.
But he hasn't collected it. Do you know what I mean? Because you weren't allowed to go out.
Okay.
Like I don't really carry cash much.
Yeah.
So and no one else bring cash.
So they just owed him money, but
so everyone he had tallied. I reckon he had like $600 owing or whatever. And then when we got out, a few of the younger boys did the right thing and was like, "Oh, here's the cash I owe you." And then a couple of days later, they like ask him, "So like have the other boys paid or anything?" No. It's like, "Well, can I have my money back?" So like it was good, but sort of got a bit annoying at times, but then we got out of it. It was sweet. So
it's like anything. You're around someone too much, and you need to just have your space. Okay, so take us back to a young Reed.
I grew up on like 100 acres for majority of my life.
Oh, really?
So obviously I was all into motorbikes and all that sort of stuff. So and my old man had a mate like where cars get written off,
Mm.
they can't actually like put them out.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, I don't even know what it's called.
Yeah.
So we'd buy the cars off him for like $200, and we had tracks, like car tracks and that,
Fuck.
and we just go fang the cars,
That's
and then blow
mad.
them up,
Yeah.
and then he'd just come and pick them up and then drop another one off.
That's sick.
Yeah, it was mad. Like one of my best mates lived down the road, probably
Yeah.
a kilometre on like a lychee farm.
Mm.
He was motocross mad as well.
Yeah.
And like we'd just go to and for from each other's house all weekend. And
Did you ever consider like pursuing that at all?
oh,
Like, as in-
I think I'd probably not. It's pretty expensive, I think.
yeah, you got
Like to get into motocross. But I just loved it. I mean, I would love to have done it, but
Yeah, yeah.
probably wouldn't have been my best.
Well, it's interesting
thing.
because I watched the Netflix documentary, the F1. Have you watched that?
Yeah,
Oh, it's
yeah,
like the F1 documentary.
Mad. How good
it's
is it, eh?
sick. It's
So
so
good.
good. But they kind of delve into that a little bit. How to get into like F1, you've got to have a rich family because
Literally, yeah.
it's so expensive.
Yeah.
And it's probably a little bit with GP. You don't have to be rich, I'd say, but like I'd assume to buy all the equipment and that. Like
Yeah.
with footy, it's just like boots and
Yeah.
a jersey.
And you can wear boots for
Fucking ages.
how long? I think like when I was a kid, you'd go through one pair of boot a year.
Yeah.
And if
yeah.
they broke, Mum, you ask for another pair. She's
Yeah.
like, the fuck, this is supposed to last a season.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Whereas
But,
now it's like a pair of frigging game.
Yeah.
Okay, so did you always play rugby league, or did you play any other sports?
Yeah, obviously, like, with that as well, obviously played footy flat out.
Yeah.
My two older brothers played, like, local footy.
Yeah.
So the whole family was just footy mad. And then, obviously, I played a bit of cricket, a bit of Oztag, bit of touch. But obviously, footy was always priority.
Yeah.
That's where I sort of did my, was most successful at when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So that sort of took over a bit. And as I got older, sort of everything else sort of one by one dropped off,
Yep.
sort of thing.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, obviously played like all my mates and that, like it was mad. But then it gets to a point where you have to be start to get a bit serious, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So,
So you obviously, you play for Kawana, you play for Biwa.
yeah, so when I was like, so that's like the local team where I'm from, probably like 5-10 minutes from my house where I lived.
Yeah.
So when I was a kid, we'd play for them.
Yep.
But then when I got to like 14s, we didn't have a team. Like, we're good enough to play B division, but when we went to A division, like we just get
Get
like
towed
mercy
up.
ruled every week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, just loved playing with the boys and that.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, if I want to make something out of this, I got to,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? I got to move. So that's when I moved to Kawana because I had a
Okay.
couple of mates there
Yep.
that I played rep footy with, and his dad was a coach, and he's like, come here, and it sort of just went from there, really.
And did you make any of the Queensland sides growing up or anything like that?
Oh, I think I made like the Queensland under 15s like school team,
Yeah.
but that was it until under 20s Origin, really.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so
Yeah. Okay.
didn't really wasn't really in any Queensland rep teams for a while.
The
Yeah,
juniors and that. Okay.
Yeah.
So before being scouted by the Bulldogs, you were playing for their SG ball team. How did that come about?
so when I was 15 at that Queensland tournament,
Yep.
obviously got approached by the Dogs or whatever,
Mm.
and then I thought, what can I lose? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we just signed on, and then we sort of put something in like, oh, when you're this age, we want you to come down, considering if you're still going good or blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then it got to 16 years old, and they wanted to bring me down, and I was like, a bit young, you know what I mean? Wanted to finish school up in Queensland. So then I waited till 17, finished school.
So you go down at 17. Did you move down by yourself?
Yeah, so moved down by myself,
Mm.
lived in the dog's house, actually with Adam Kieran, actually.
Oh, really?
Me and Adzi,
I
yeah.
thought it was at the doggies.
Yeah, he was there from like young age.
Really?
Adzi, yeah. So then me and him were living together with like a few other boys.
Yep.
And then I started playing SG ball. So I was like 17 going on 18.
Yeah.
So I played SG ball, and then went to go to 20s. Didn't really like get pushed up to 20s much at all. And then literally 2 weeks later, like manager calls me. He's like, "Oh, do you want to go to Para? You can play 20s there."
Yeah.
And like playing when it was 20s back then, like when it was still NYC, the yellow ball was like mad.
Yeah.
If you're playing 20s at like 17, 18, like that's
That's
good.
mad. Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? That's what you want to do. You know what I
Yep.
mean? So I thought, fuck it. Just went and
Just
did
do
it.
Yeah.
Moved into a house in Para, like in Para with the like same sort of setup, like
Yep.
families. And then that's when I moved in with like Dill Brown and all that.
Yeah.
And just went from there really. Started playing a
Yeah.
bit of 20s and then went from there.
And so, what was it like, young kid from Nambour moving to down in Sydney? Did you struggle at all away from home?
Oh yeah,
initially?
yeah, definitely. I think Actually, the parents I had at the Bulldogs, that like they were unreal. Still talk to them now. And like other boys that have been there, they would know the same sort of thing. Like just if you want to, just what you want to do, then you just got to sort of push through it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like family's always going to be there.
Did you ever consider, because some boys, not some, a lot of boys get homesick and they just
Yeah,
bounce.
but I was on the verge of just,
Yeah.
it's just footy, man. You know what I mean? Like just, and there's just something in me that just kept me there.
Yeah.
And then like, thank God that I pushed through that. I don't know. Do you call it a pain? Do you call homesick a pain? I don't know. It's like a feeling that like
You can feel it.
Yeah,
When you're
I don't know.
homesick,
Yeah,
you
it's
feel like it's like a almost an anxiety. A little
yeah,
bit.
like and because all my mates like we just finished school and all that. Like I felt like I just had mad FOMO of everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
And obviously I didn't have a car at the time.
Oh,
It was still at home.
Yeah, yeah.
And then didn't have a job. Like bro, it was all over the shop.
Yeah.
And then I was training under 18, so we're training in the back of Bankstown.
Yeah.
I'm just an Aussie kid from Sunny Coast. Like,
Yeah.
got
Totally different.
Got no idea. Like,
Yeah.
no multicultural.
Yeah, well,
like,
I mean,
at
Queensland,
all, you know
I
what
say
I
this
mean?
to people all the time, like Queensland, it's a little bit different now, but growing up, when I grew up, it wasn't multicultural really at all.
Nah.
I mean, there was maybe a lot of Asians in Surfers Paradise initially, but
Yeah.
you never really got to experience or communicate
Yeah.
with them. Whereas like Sydney's are just a melting
Yeah,
pot
bro.
of
And I had
cultures.
no multicultural skills at all. Like nothing. But you obviously learn along the
Yeah.
way.
Absolutely.
But yeah, bro. If it wasn't, I just something in me just kept me there, and
Yep.
thank God I did because I could
Oh,
be.
mate.
I don't know. Doing
Fuck,
who knows at home.
mate.
Probably still living at mum's.
Okay, so you get down. Was it hard though because the doggies didn't seem like? Did you go to the doggies and say, "Look, I want a crack here," and did they say to you, "Look, you're going okay, but you're probably not under 20s ready yet"? What was it?
Yeah, I think because I started the whole SG ball season, like majority of it,
Yeah.
and then they just didn't want to take me any like further at the time. And then sometimes you just got to take opportunities. You know what I mean?
So doggies kind of didn't resign you. They just said,
Nah, not really. They
Yeah.
said they wanted to, but it wasn't. I was sort of going to be third, fourth in line. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So I was
okay.
like, oh, I'll work hard to get there. Trust
Yeah.
me. But when another opportunity that comes that's giving you better, you got
Yeah,
to obviously
absolutely.
take it at that age. You know what I mean? It's all about
Yeah.
opportunity at that age. It's not about anything else.
Absolutely.
So you just had to bite the bullet and just do it, and it turned out pretty good.
So yeah, you sign a $6,000 contract. They say, is that accurate? $6,000.
Oh, I actually don't even remember.
Really?
I don't know. I think it was something like that.
Something along those lines.
Yeah.
$6,000 sounds about right.
Yeah, for like an under 20s player.
You know, it's
Yeah,
funny
sounds
when
right.
you're younger, like it says like 6,000. You're like then you're like, okay, how much is that per month?
Yeah.
and you think that's going to last for 12 months. I had a $4,000 contract, my first
Yeah.
contract.
And you're thinking, that's mad.
I was, oh,
and you
man.
think about if I'm working full time,
Yeah.
and then like, you get this, you're like,
Yep.
yeah, mad.
I'll be cashed up. Okay, so you played 28 games in 2017 in the NYC tournament, primarily playing off the bench, eventually getting a starting role towards the end of the year. You led the NYC in tackles, and you also made the grand final. You were named Parramatta Under 20s Player of the Year as well. Was that all in your first year?
So yeah, so the first year I went to Para, what was I? Yeah, I just turned 18. So then I played about 2 games for the 20s then.
Yep.
And then the next year was the 2017 when we made the grand final.
Okay, yep.
So, but that was like my favourite time playing footy that year.
Yeah, okay.
Like heaps of boys that were there as well. They're like, bro, that was like the best year we had. I don't know what it was. It was just something about our team and the culture we had within each other.
Yep.
That like, if someone went out, like everyone would be
Everyone,
there. Like it just be had
yeah.
this. We're all young. Like we just had. Like, it was the best year of footy I've had.
Yeah.
In a way, obviously NRL is different, but
Yeah.
like that was just so fun, bro. Like
Well, it's just like you're carefree and everyone's on board and
Yeah.
you're playing good and you
Yeah.
get to live your life.
yeah, it was mad year. Obviously we lost, which
Yeah.
is shit.
Shit,
But,
but-
in the last couple of minutes we lost. Yeah, but
Um,
I've actually never even like
Watched it.
watched it again.
Really?
I don't know if it's like I should,
Yeah.
but
I reckon just.
I've watched a little clippets of few things.
Yeah.
But then I'm just like, no, I just can't do it, hey. Like,
Nah.
I was only under 20s, but
Yeah, still. When you're younger, like, it's weird. When I watch young people play, I'm like, mate, it doesn't matter. It only matters once you get to a certain thing. But
Yeah.
when you're younger, it means the world to you. Like when I
Yeah.
played soccer, I still got memories of like games that we won that literally to me, it felt like a life or death. Like I thought I
Yeah.
was going to die if we lost. Like that's how competitive I was.
yeah.
Okay, so 2017, so 2017 is the year that you do really well. What do you think? Have you always been a number 9, or did you develop into that? Were you a half or?
Yeah, no, I think probably majority always played 9.
Yep.
But yeah, that year I played off the bench a lot because
Yep.
the fellow that was there, he was a year older than me or 2 years older or whatever, and he was starting. So obviously I knew I was happy to come off the bench.
Yeah.
I was just happy to play. You know what I mean? And then obviously a few things during the year, players get injured, blah, blah, blah. Started playing lock, and then I started, from then I just started playing hooker. Obviously I played hooker my whole life. I only played half a few times, but just always found myself finding me being the most comfortable
playing
at 9.
Yep.
Like at 7 or 6 when I was maybe 15, I just felt like I was distant from the game. I just zone in and out.
Yep.
Where 9, you're just
Whole
nah,
time.
it's, you got to be flat out just, you know what I mean? You can't just, the old halfbacks,
just go in the wing and chill out for a bit.
off the kick off the wing, eh? Yeah. You got a big Nelson run off you off the kick off. Cheers, boys.
I'm a winger. We don't have to deal with that shit. We don't have to deal with that shit. We're there to get all the glory as wingers. Okay, so that 2017, what do you think? What do you like as you progressed to get that starting role? Was there anything that you were doing? Were you doing extras at training, or was it just your form pushed you into that role?
Oh, obviously, trained hard.
Yeah.
Always say to people, I always definitely train my ass off. Just always doing extras, kicking, passing, whatever it was, just to try and obviously my goal that year was to somewhat the end of the year or the next year try and get in the NRL preseason or, do you know what I mean? So obviously that was my goal, as well as, starting for para.
Yep.
And sometimes you just got to bide your time.
Yeah,
I mean, that
absolutely.
18, 19 years old, just had to bide my time, and then a few things happened, and then
Boom.
last few games, probably the last 8 weeks I started, and we just went from there, really.
And so the grand final, do you remember much from it? I mean, obviously you remember the last few minutes, but that's the biggest game of your life at that stage.
Yeah, it was. I think it was there was a few boys that I'm playing with now. It was Oregon, Dylan.
Yep.
Who else was in there?
Dylan must have been young.
Whereas he just turned.
So
he just got he just turned 17 maybe.
Just turned 17. Okay.
Because we had to wait because he just got picked for Australian schoolboys.
Wow.
And then he decided not to play because they were playing that same weekend that we were going to be in the grand final if we made it though.
Yeah. Okay.
So he pulled out weeks before.
Wow.
Hoping that we made it.
Fuck.
And then we made it.
That's confidence in the boys.
Yeah. And at the time, I think as well, we had Dean Madison playing 6, and the week before we had Troy Dargan playing 7 for us.
Yep.
And then the week before Dargs breaks his arm.
Fucking hell.
So then, Dill plays.
Wow.
Scores a try, plays mad.
So has he always been a gun?
Bro.
Crazy?
I don't know what it is about him. It's just...
It comes so easy to him, mate. Just cruises.
Yeah, it's just it's ridiculous.
I think he's still got so much room for growth.
Oh, bro.
He's going to be incredible.
Not fresh in a way, but
yep.
He's still pretty young. He's 21.
Yeah, 21 or something.
21, yeah.
Big body, athletic.
And fast, bro. He's fast,
so
man.
Deceptively fast. I was going to do an article saying, is he the fastest 6 in the game?
He'd be up there, 100%.
Yeah,
and he's very strong.
Him and Burton.
Yeah.
Probably up there.
You've seen the amount of try savers he saved from just chasing people down. He's and he's obviously got a competitive mindset. That's why everyone plays sport, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but yeah, he just has this, and he's just naturally just fit as well.
He's a gun. He is a gun.
He's been drinking piss for 6 weeks, and I was running with him today.
Yeah,
and he's just he's been putting diamonds in his body for the whole 6 weeks. Sweet, and then here's me. Obviously, been injured, but.
Yeah,
man, I'm sloppy as everything.
Just natural athlete. Natural athlete. So, do you remember anything from the game?
Bro, I remember crying at the end. But I honestly don't really remember much. To be honest,
I'm the same with those earlier games.
It's just a blur, really.
Yep.
Which is weird because you obviously think about it 6 weeks after, or what if, you know what I mean?
Yep.
But obviously I remember being there mad, hectic, playing grand final day. But bro, it was good experience, you know what I mean? And especially at that age.
So that year does the Eels ring you up and say, we want you to come and do a preseason with us?
Yeah, so because obviously when you're in 20s, you got to work as well.
Yeah.
So I was working full time.
What were you doing for work?
So I was working at Giant Steps. So now I'm like an ambassador for Giant Steps, which
Yep.
is kids and adults with autism.
Yep.
I don't know. I just have something about them. Love the kids. Love
Mm.
helping out.
Yep.
Now my mate runs his own disability clinic. Like he's just something that this little group we had, probably 5 or 6, so that we just had this touching thing with kids. You know what I mean? Yeah, worked for them. And then one afternoon, obviously my manager was sort of throwing it up, but it wasn't really a shoe-in really sort of
Yeah.
thing. So I'm at work and we're in like a team, like a work meeting, and I get a phone call and it's like, oh, you start training. And it was like, oh, when? It's like, oh, next week. I'm like,
out.
oh shit. And like, because we obviously played, haven't had a break because you just go back to work.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? And then, you just 4 weeks, you go like, oh, do another 20s preseason, that's fine. You know what I mean? And then, before you know it, I'm up there training,
Far out.
like, ass is hanging out.
Mate, no, did you barely train that off period?
Oh, you trained a little bit, but nothing like
you're working. You can't really
working,
go that
like,
hard,
and
yeah.
you're off break, so you're not like
Yeah.
flogging yourself much, you know what I mean? Because I'm thinking in my head, well, 20s is not another
Yeah.
4 weeks away,
Absolutely.
not a 1 week away. And first preseason, I think how old was I? 19. I think
Yeah.
I was. And that was probably one of the toughest things that I've done is rough.
Yeah.
Like, I think it gets easier as you get on.
Absolutely.
A bit more experience, you know your body more.
Yeah.
You know what you have to do to get yourself right.
And you just kind of like switch off
Yeah.
and get through it.
Yeah.
Just get through it. It's
Sometimes you just have to get through it.
Yeah.
You can train as hard as, but sometimes just not your day.
yeah, absolutely.
Like today, I felt it was not my day today. And I'm like, I trained Monday and then got to today.
Yeah.
And like me and Dill flogged ourselves on Monday.
Yeah.
And like my body was so sore. You
Yeah.
know, when you just get like that first bit of soreness, like
Yep.
you just have to get it.
Totally.
And then today I was like, my back is just,
Gary
my
Jack
back
is
is
gone.
broken.
Do you remember any of the first few sessions that it really, like, was there anyone you rocked up and gone, wow, they're such and such, or the way they trained, or the intensity?
Yeah, it was actually funny because obviously I don't know, because in like NRL you get food provided to you,
Yep.
everything's given to you, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
when you're there. And I actually remember I packed my lunch for training. Full muesli bars, made sandwiches and everything.
So, like, wrapped it in the...
Yeah, put it in like a little esky, and I took my footy bag and I had my lunch packed, everything,
Yeah.
and I didn't even need it.
Oh,
Everything. That's
fuck.
one thing I do remember.
Yeah. 'Cause all the boys just expected. All the first
yeah.
guys like, what the fuck?
Yeah, like, and because it was really weird. I was like, and I started being a bit embarrassed because I was like, "Where's everyone else's lunch?" You know what I mean?
Fuck, that is such a...
But yeah,
rookie thing.
it was hard because I think it was like 6 weeks before Christmas, and that's all I had given to me was sick before Christmas.
Train and
that was
trial,
it.
pretty much.
Yeah, 4 weeks or whatever it was,
Mm.
and all in my head was like, just train your ass off. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? That's the only way you're going to get noticed is
Absolutely.
train your ass off. The skills and everything will come with it.
Yeah.
So I reckon for about 2 weeks I was there, and then I just started dipping away. Like I just
Yeah,
couldn't
yeah.
keep up.
Yep.
My body just couldn't physically.
Absolutely.
You get to a part and your body's like, fuck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that's like, for fans that are listening, that's the biggest, I guess, test is that a lot of, not a lot, but some young bodies can handle the preseason and they just get through it somehow. But some guys, especially if they go too hard too soon, the younger bodies start breaking down because they're not battle hardened to a preseason.
And you're running kilometers in a week that you wouldn't have run before. You know what I
absolutely.
mean? You're lifted in the gym like, and obviously there I've got 5 weeks to prove to
Yep. So you go on
coach that.
skits.
So I'm just trying to lift the most. Like, I think I could bench like 90 kilos.
Yeah.
Fuck all them. Like trying to do everything
Yeah.
flat stick. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So then I got to a point I was like, just started not dying, but just couldn't sustain what I could
Yeah.
at the start. And then we sort of had like a mid break sort of thing, like a couple of days or whatever.
Yeah.
I sort of kicked up again. I was okay till Christmas, you know what I mean? And then, you know, a couple of days before preseason ended before Christmas, Brad goes, I want you to come back after Christmas. And I was like, sweet.
What's that like? Are you just like, yes.
Yeah, so I'm like, fuck yeah, this is mad.
Yeah.
Went home, like back to Queensland, mum and dad's, and just trained.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Which is probably not the smartest thing to do, but all in my head was like, I have to come back fit. I have to come back. Because all he said to me was, I need you to come back like
Ready to go.
fit, ready to go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then, you know, but Then like January, he's like, I want you to stay till the trials, and then before you know, I just signed like a development deal, and then went from there. You know what I mean? And then obviously you need a bit of luck in footy or in life, but got luck. You know what I mean? Obviously, I started playing cup straight away, which is pretty big for me at the time.
Yep.
And then, bro, before I know it, it was 14 weeks into the season, and we had a couple injuries. I think Kaiser got injured. And then we were playing in Darwin, like hot as. Like that's where I debuted. It was like 40 degrees. Like,
do you remember?
Have you seen like the video? I think it was last year, and the panel like on 9, they were just like drenched in
Was
like
that where
sweat.
like you guys beat Broncos by?
I think it was
substantial
Broncos.
margin?
Yeah.
Yep.
Right, it's so hot. So
So hot.
got to debut up there,
Yeah.
and like just luck that I got to play, sort of thing.
Yep.
So and then obviously I wanted to stay there, so you have to go up another gear to stay there.
Absolutely.
So
Do you remember the combo from Brad Arthur? Like, did he call you in the office, or how did it come about?
I think it was like I was actually doing video with Nathan Callis because he was the Wendy coach at the time,
Yep.
New South Wales Cup, and I was doing video, and I got a phone call. I just walked out of his room. I got a phone call from a random number,
Yep.
and I was like, "Who the fuck's trying to call me?"
Yeah.
Answered it, and it was Brad.
Fucking
I didn't even have the I didn't have the bloke's number. I'm like, "Hey, it's Reed." And he's like, "Oh, it's Brad. So you know that your chance of playing this week. Just got to check up on a few people, blah, blah, blah." And that's the last I heard of it.
Yeah.
Bro, and since I hung up on that phone call, the whole night, bro, I couldn't sleep.
Yeah.
Like just tossing. You know when you're just tossing and turning?
Yeah,
like
you can't stop
you're a little
thinking.
kid and you just, like it's Christmas and you just like, got to open the present sort of thing. You just
Yeah.
can't sleep.
Yep.
And like that was me, bro. And then the next day we're in the like team room, everything. And he just told everyone in front of everyone. I didn't even know. And I was like, holy shit.
It's happening.
Yeah, and then like for a day, for the training, I swear I trained that bad that day because I was just like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
Like, my dream is coming true. You know what I mean? Like
Totally.
everything that we've spoken about, moving away from home, getting homesick,
Yeah.
like finding a job, you
Yep.
know what I mean? It's sort of all fell into place. It was
Yep.
mad. And then from then, it's just like you just want to be better and better.
Absolutely.
So it was-
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's been a good journey.
What do you remember from the game, the debut game? Anything specific?
I remember, I think Tamalolo ran at me. That was my first tackle and like split my nose.
Fuck.
And you know, when you always hear like the jokes of like, "Welcome to first grade."
Yeah,
Kid. Like,
yeah.
that's what like, I had in my head. And I was like bleeding in my nose a bit.
Yep.
And then obviously like playing against JT and that like,
Yeah, that
mad.
was sick.
So and then obviously seeing my parents and
Yep.
family after, like it's hectic.
So you play that game. Then the following week, you get put on report and suspended for one match after being cited for a dangerous tackle. And then you're named in July. You're named in the under-20s Queensland side, and you win 36 win over New South Wales. You had 2 try assists in the game. What was the? Did that give you going to the 20? Obviously, you'd already played NRL, but going into the 20s Queensland side and playing really well, did that give you a ton of confidence that you were developing?
Yeah, I think obviously I didn't really play much Queensland footy before,
Yeah,
and then obviously it was in the back of my mind, but I'm like, no, I want to play first grade.
yeah,
Didn't think that I was really going to get picked at all. And then, when I started, I think I got confidence going into 20s Origin playing, having like already played
yeah. NRL.
NRL. Because like there's probably maybe 60% of the boys have and 40% haven't.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? So that took a lot of confidence into that game.
yep.
And then obviously coming back to first grade, it was huge.
Mate, it's what about the win over New South Wales? Do you remember the feeling of that?
Because it was the first time Queensland 20s have ever beaten New South Wales. Did you know that?
I didn't know
Yeah.
that. That's
I'm pretty
fucking
sure.
wild.
I'm pretty confident
Wow.
that was. Yeah, Queensland 20s have never beaten New South Wales.
Holy shit.
So-
How is that possible?
Yeah, we beat them and
30-6.
can't remember the night though.
Because you got knocked out? Or are you drunk too much? Hey, that's good. That means you're a
That was
Queenslander through and through.
very, very good night.
Where'd you
actually.
go after?
Where else? The Caxton.
Oh, the Caco. Fucking hell. Mate, if walls could talk, the Caxton, could you imagine the stories they could tell?
Like imagine back in the day when like
be so
Langer
good.
and that were all there. Holy.
Bruh, be sick. Okay, also that you sign an extension until 2020. Early February. So after that season, in 2019, you signed an extension until 2020, and this would have been a better deal than your development deal. This would have been an NRL
Yeah, like I think top 30 maybe.
top 30.
Yeah, so I didn't have to
still
get an
not
exemption to play NRL.
top. Okay,
Yeah.
so this is still not even top 25. This is just top 30.
Yeah.
Wow. So it's basically a minimum deal, really.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
Yep.
pretty much. Yeah. Minimum,
Okay, so the next year you make 26 appearances for Parramatta. You guys finish 5th. You qualify for finals. What did you think that? What did you learn that year? Did you feel like, because there was a period there where you almost were working too hard. You know, you're almost making too many tackles. What do you think you learned that season?
Yeah, that I think sometimes smarter is better than working harder.
Yep.
Really. And I think that's just experience as well. Like even for now, but that season, obviously, I got to start the whole year, which was mad. I mean, we come 5th.
Yeah.
I think we were only 2 points from the top 4.
Crazy.
But yeah, just obviously learning that the physicality that it takes to play 26 games of NRL.
Yeah.
It must, I think I only played 10 games a year before.
Yeah.
So being able to play 26, it takes a physical toll on your body.
Yep.
And also probably a bit mentally, because sometimes you just got to go to training going, fuck, bro, I'm so sore.
Yeah,
Do you know
absolutely.
what I mean? You just got to do it. And me being a kid, you can't just go to the physio and go, bro, I've played 10 games. I can't just go up and go, bro, just give me your orange shirt today. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
like I'm sore. Like I was not scared, but didn't think I earned the authority to say, fuck, I need a bit of a
I need
rest
a break
today,
here,
you know what I
or
mean?
I'm going too hard, or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
So yeah, you obviously learn along the way. But now it's sort of worked
Much
out.
better.
Yeah.
And walk us through it. This is one of the greatest moments in rugby league history, in my opinion. I always give Cam, well, not always, but I've given Cam Smith shit about it before. But during the first half of a game against Melbourne in an elimination semi-finals, Smithy blows up. Now, walk us through. Was it a goal of yours to get under the great Cameron Smith's skin?
Oh, I don't know if we spoke about it. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But I definitely was. There was definitely chat of like, just try and just fluster him a bit in a way. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
he's the goat.
Yeah, he's a goat.
So you got to
try something.
try
anything.
something. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That happened.
Yeah.
I think we were already losing like maybe 20-0. It was like 30 minutes of the game, and I'm just furious. You know what I mean? And obviously he kicks out a dummy half a lot.
Yeah.
So I was at marker, and I realized, like, just noticed that he's going to kick.
Yeah.
So I went, fuck this guy. The disrespect. But
Yeah, he's the goat. But you're on the field, you want to do anything.
I just want to win. I'm
Yeah.
like, fuck this. So he kicked, and then I just grabbed him, tackled him to the ground, and he's like, I remember I got my finger like in his shirt, and like obviously he's just kicked it, so he's like trying to get down there, but I
Yep.
just wouldn't let go.
Yep.
So he's just absolutely like
Chopping you.
trying to like breaking my arm, and I'm like, nah, fuck this. So I just kept holding on, and then he just, I think he was sort of got on top of me a bit, and like he went to go hit my arm again, and just completely missed and just hit me straight in the head. And then like he got sent off.
He got set off for 10.
And I remember at halftime, he's like, yeah, you got me. I was like, oh, okay.
Bro, it was so, because like, Smithy, he never gets sent
No,
off.
you
to
never,
the
like, you
bin,
never
ever.
see that at all.
And so were you just, when he did kick, were you like, I'm just going to niggle this bloke?
Yeah, I'm like, fuck, we got to try something.
Yeah,
In elimination final, we got to try and win somehow.
Yeah, yeah.
And all right, we'll go for the big dog. Someone's got to.
Oh, man.
It didn't really work out. I think we lost about 40-0, but
yeah, still got tailed up. But you know
Yeah.
what? At least you beat him in that little one moment.
Yeah.
It's funny. He laughs about it now too. It's just funny because he's so calm and collected.
yeah, you wouldn't like see it. You know what I
You
mean?
wouldn't see it ever, but you were
Yeah.
such a pest that he was just like, this fucking guy. Like,
He's
oh
probably
my
this little
God.
prick. Who the fuck does this guy think he is?
Second year of NRL, the GOAT's played about 15 years and you're just fucking pestering him. That's great. I fucking thought it was great. Okay, so yeah, you guys obviously lose that, but you get named in the Australian Prime Minister's side. What was that like? Did you end up going to PNG?
No, we went to Fiji, actually.
Oh, you went to Fiji. What was
Yeah.
that like?
Mad.
Yeah. Did
Good
you give you a lot of
experience.
confidence getting named in that side?
Yeah, I was like, there's no hope that I thought I was going to get named in that, like,
Yep.
at all.
Yeah.
And, like, obviously, like, because I was going into like the is it the Four Nations? Is that what it had that year?
Maybe.
Australia versus New Zealand was
Maybe.
like in a month or whatever. So it was obviously all the big dogs, Rizal, Benny Hunt, all them likes of boys that were already played for Australia.
Yeah.
Were all there. We're in camp together. So like, I learned a lot.
Yeah.
Like Jake Joy, which was in there. It was like good fun, man.
Yeah.
And then got to play with them. Obviously, like being a Fiji, like good time, experience and that. Went to like Micah's Village and stuff like that. Like being able to do that through footy is pretty cool.
Absolutely.
And then obviously play with them. Yeah, Matt, great experience.
Who do you think you learnt the most off in that trip? Like, was it professionalism? Was it preparation? Was it just the way you
Yeah, I
handled
think
yourself?
obviously because Mel was the coach, like just how professional that you have to be, you know what I mean, in them sort of settings. But the club footy is probably a lot different.
Yeah.
You know, you can walk in and be a larrikin. You can do that there, but sometimes you just got to be a bit more, you know, presentable, a bit more responsible in a way.
Yep.
And just what it takes to really to get to the top teams, you know what I mean? So, yeah, man, it was a great experience. So.
Did you just go for a drink after the game or anything like that?
Yeah, I had like Carver first
really?
time. Hate that shit.
Did it put you to sleep straight away?
Oh, yeah, a little bit after a few. But I was, because like, have you been to Fiji?
Yeah, but I stayed mainly in my resort.
You're in a resort. So you don't really leave much, hey? Like it's,
Yeah.
we just had beers in like the team room sort of
Yeah.
thing.
What beers did you drink? Would have been some.
Bro, I actually don't even
Local.
remember, eh?
Been some local stuff.
Would have been something because like there was girls playing there too.
Yep.
At the Australian girls team there, and then there was also the Navy Australian team was there.
Oh, okay.
So we all ended up. They were staying next door or something. So
Yeah.
everyone ended up just in a big circle
Oh,
having
that's
like
cool.
a good time.
That's
it was,
mad.
It was a good time.
And then you get named under 23 side, and this was like Kalen and that. Was
Right.
it? Yeah.
The team was
It
ridiculous.
was crazy, the
Yeah.
under 23 side.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a really cool concept to see all the young boys come together like that.
Yeah, it was good.
Did you go away together at all for that?
We went
Gong?
to
Was it
Wollongong. Yeah.
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 Was that like playing with all the young guns?
It was mad.
Was it fun? Did you get a...
Yeah, we were good as friends.
Yep.
But yeah, the team was like probably like 5 or 6 of them boys that were in that team could easily play
Yeah.
for the top dogs.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
being in that team was like, yeah, it was like good lads,
Yeah.
good week. Obviously we won, which is great.
Yeah.
And then
I'd be surprised if you didn't.
yeah,
Jesus.
if we didn't win,
Oh my God. Don't
yeah,
ever
we
wear
would
that
have
jersey
been
again.
in a little bit of trouble, I think. But no, it was good experience.
Okay, so 2020 rolls around, and was there anything specific you did in your off season? Was there any people that, because did Joey come? Yeah, Joey came and worked with you for 2020.
Yes.
Before everything shut down.
Yes. Yeah. So we were seeing him. He'd come in probably twice a week.
Yep.
And probably do an hour or so or hour and a half with like the spine really.
Yeah.
Just talking about stuff. Spoke about a lot of like plays and things like that, but just having him there and his presence, like, is the eighth for a reason.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's one of those things you just shut up and listen.
Absolutely.
In a way. And like some of the things he does, like I think we were doing like this kicking thing one day. He's like, oh, just like this, just hit the post, and we're just like,
Just nailing it.
just nailing it, like, yeah, and
And
that's why.
Like, 45 now or whatever.
Yeah. So, but yeah, having him around was like the last couple of years has been
Yeah.
really good for
What
us.
do you think you've learnt the most from him?
Oh, he always talks about like my kicking game and stuff like that, and just owning it in a way, just being you and just owning it. It's just been
Being confident enough to make the call.
Yeah.
Take the kick.
yeah,
Don't
which
hesitate.
has been really good. And like the little things we had around the rack was
Yeah.
good for like myself, and then the spine and stuff like halves and that. And I think like probably this year we probably were the best at it. I think it
Yeah.
obviously took us probably a year and a bit to actually start to
Yeah.
find it, because it's not one of them things you just click and it
No,
just
no
happens.
way.
You know what I mean?
It's
So,
tough.
but yeah, it's,
And also, you got to remember, like your combination with Mitch and Gutho and Dylan Brown, it's still relatively new. It's not like
Yeah.
you've been playing for 6 years together or whatever. You're still what,
Yeah,
third
exactly.
year maybe now.
yeah.
Is there anyone else that you learned quite a bit off in the hooking role, like any other ex players or anything?
I just speak to like Mick Ennis, because I think he came to training one day.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I think before Joey came, he was keen to jump on. I think
Okay.
it was a couple of years ago,
Yep.
and like it was actually something about he was watching training, and Brad had him there, and he goes, "Oh, Reed works hard, like which is good, but sometimes it's his downfall in a way.
Also, Mick had watched a training or a game, and then he spoke
Yeah.
to Brad and said,
Well, he was at training at the time.
Okay,
He just
okay.
come. I think he just came and watched maybe. I don't know.
okay. Yeah.
And yeah, he just said to pull me aside and just said like, maybe you just need to be a bit more like smarter. And from that, I sort of went, oh yeah,
Okay.
you're
cool.
right in a way. So
Yeah.
like obviously don't speak to him a lot.
Yeah.
But that's one thing I do remember. He would come to training one day.
Yeah.
I don't know what he was doing there.
Yeah.
But then he just pulled me aside and we had a bit of a chat, blah,
Yeah.
blah. Because I'm always trying to pick at brains, like, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You can't not stop learning. Yeah, that was one thing that he definitely like bring up. Like, it's good to work hard, but sometimes it's, you don't need to, in a
Well,
way.
yeah,
to
and
be
then-
smart or not, you know
Absolutely. And sometimes, like, you working hard, you can actually pass off that workload to someone else that can A, do it better, B, also hasn't got that much work to do or something. For example, if there's a wide running back rower that hasn't been on the field, he comes on, he's only going to come on for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
You'd rather give him the workload because
Yeah,
he
exactly.
can do it at a higher standard, and then you can do your shit at a higher
Yeah,
standard.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, and so that 2020 season, you go into the final series again. What do you think you learnt this final series? You know, like, was there any period where you felt a bit of the pressure of like, oh fuck, we can't get knocked out again on straight sets?
I think like the last few years, it's just experience of
Yeah.
that time. Because you read the media and they're all just like, Para would dive out in the second week at the finals, blah, blah, blah. I think it's just experience of having, well, we know now what it takes to get to that.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah, absolutely.
And just absorb the pressure. Like, just be
Absolutely.
a sponge and absorb it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're going to fuck up, well, you're going to fuck up. It's footy. It's not human.
Yeah,
It's human to fuck up.
yeah, absolutely.
So I think just experience that we had and confidence.
Yeah,
That's why the boys did go like so well this year. Was they just had confidence of they knew, and we had won some really good games weeks before
yeah,
going into it. You know what I mean? So like at the end of the day, it's footy. Some things come your way and some things don't. So.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So 2021 rolls around, and you kick the year off playing fantastic, and you get selected for Queensland squad. Do you remember the phone call? Was it a surprise? Was it, you know?
Yeah, it was obviously playing pretty good, and like the general manager and Brad was sort of hinted to me that I could be in the squad or whatever, but then didn't really know if I was. So that Sunday, it was a bit of a long day, to be honest, because I was
Yeah.
like, well, I'm either going to be picked or I'm not.
Yeah,
Not thinking that like cocky that I'm going to be in there,
Yeah.
but I was confident in myself of how I've played. I could be in it. And obviously them hinting it to me, like, oh, have you got a call yet? I'm like,
Yeah.
well, why are you asking
why are
that?
you asking that?
See what I mean?
Yep.
And then, got the phone call about 9 o'clock at night. Had to pack my bags and fly to Brisbane the next day. But, yeah, great phone call, you know what I mean? So, it's one of
Was
them
it Paul
things.
Green that called you?
Yeah, so it was Green who called me. Obviously, didn't know where I stood positionally or whatever at the time. But just being named in that is huge, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, like, family was wrapped, mates were wrapped, everything. So, yeah, it was great phone call. One of them times you want to have again, in
Yeah.
a way. So,
And so, what was that? You rock in. What was that first day like? We're thinking, I'm in a state of origin camp. This is state of origin.
it's a bit, I don't know what the word is. It's pretty like an eye opener, you know what I mean? You sort
Yeah.
of got to just take a step back and just relax a bit, you know what I mean? A bit on edge, you know what I mean? So, yeah, it's one of those things where you go there and you get this feeling that like, now I want to play.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
absolutely. What about when you got the kit for the first time, the great maroon kit?
Yeah, mad,
Yeah.
hectic. Like,
So
yeah,
good.
it's just one of those things you just want to wear it again, and then you have like the chats during the week, and you're just like, fuck, bros, just get me out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
What was it? Was the training a whole nother level as well? Did you learn anything from any of the, like, you know, you got a guy like Christian Walsh there, you know, Munster's there.
Yeah, I
Cherry's
just think
there.
just in general, just like what it takes to train. When it comes to training, it's full on.
Yeah,
You just got to be at your best when you go to train. Like,
Yeah.
you train the way you play. Then just the experience, really, just being able to be there and have JT and the likes of them players there.
yeah. Was Cameron
mad.
Smith in there?
No, he wasn't.
Wasn't there?
Nah.
What? So how did it come? So you were gonna be 18th man. How
I
did,
didn't know.
yeah. How did it all come about? So you were part of the squad,
Yeah.
and then you got told you could play. Was it a plan to bring you back in? What was the plan?
Yeah, so I was supposed to come back the next day after I played,
Yeah, okay.
and then come back on Thursday. And go to the game on the Wednesday, with the boys, and then obviously go back to club after that.
Yeah.
So obviously, if I wrote the script, it'd be a lot different.
Yeah.
But yeah, God's got me good,
Yeah.
pretty gods, and I
Right.
couldn't obviously go back because I was
Injured.
like you said. Yeah, I was 18th man. I couldn't obviously. Someone got hurt. I couldn't play. So
was the plan, like, let's say you didn't get injured. Was the plan to you that you would be 18th? You would.
I wasn't actually sure.
Okay.
So I was 19th, 18th. I'm not sure.
Okay.
20th, but I was definitely going back.
Supposed to go back.
Supposed to go back the next day.
Yeah.
And then enjoy the rest of the week. So yeah, I wasn't too sure.
Yeah, very weird.
I
like,
was.
Why you would play? Because if you're 18th or 19th man, you don't want to be tired from 2 days
Yeah,
ago from
exactly.
playing.
Because we played on the Sunday night.
Yeah. It's very
yeah.
weird.
Yeah, different, but
So when you do get injured, how devastating is that for you?
yeah, it was a bit sitting on the sidelines going, like, surely not.
Fuck.
I've never been like touch wood, like haven't really been injured before.
Yeah.
And I'm in a state of origin camp and I got to go back the next day.
Oh,
My first injury, I can't even go back. I'm like, surely not. This is what the fuck's
man.
going on here?
Yeah, that's so unlucky, bro.
So yeah, just sort of just have to embrace it, bro. And obviously the first probably week or two, I was just pretty pissed
Yeah.
off.
Yep.
But just something just got to roll with the punches, really.
Right. Absolutely. What's been the hardest game you've ever played? What's the most tackles? Is like 60 the most you've ever done?
Yeah, 60, 65 maybe up
Far
there.
out. What's the
Yeah, a
hardest
few.
game you've ever played where you've just been fucking ass hanging out?
I'm trying to think. I think it was off the top of my head right now. I think it was Melbourne. Was it last year? We played in Brisbane. I think the year before we played in Melbourne. But yeah, it might have been last year in Brisbane. We were winning 12-0. And then they sort of scored a couple quick tries. But that last 20 minutes, bro, was just end
Wild.
to end. Like, you're playing Melbourne, so you got to be at your best.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like, as a stage, it was just like a con game, bro. It was just like,
Far
oh,
out.
fuck. You got to half time, thank fuck.
What's
in a way.
what's the rule changes been like for you're in the middle? Is it genuinely faster?
Yeah, it's very quick.
Yeah.
I think we played Penrith this year, the trial game. We had the new rules. Everyone's looking at you going, are these rules fucking sweet? You know what I mean? Like, yeah. And then, just sort of, you get used to it, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think it's better.
Yeah, okay.
in
So
a
you
way.
enjoy it.
I enjoy it for my own sake,
Yep.
my role in the team, and my ability. I think I like it.
Yeah.
Maybe not the other end of it, tackling, but
Yeah. A lot of
you
tackling.
learn to adapt with that stuff. But I think
Yep.
how I like to play sort of worked in my favour a bit, which is
Yeah.
good.
Well, you had the most try assists you've ever had, I think. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, fuck. It's interesting to see. I hope they don't tinker too much more. You know what I mean? I
yeah.
hope they,
What was the
keep it-
rule they were trying to bring out a couple just at the end?
I don't
Something
know.
about if you kick it out.
Oh, I think it was if you kick it out, it's a 7 tackle set, maybe.
yeah, that was it. I think
Yeah, something along
you
those
can't
lines.
do. You can't do that.
Yeah,
Bro,
well-
you're already playing at 95 meters per minute.
Yeah,
Like, bro, that's
it's a lot.
quick. That's
Yeah.
a quick game.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you cannot just kick it out and give. It's just, I just think it was so stupid.
Yeah, I know. Lucky they didn't go ahead with that. What I think is look, the rule changes have happened. Let's just stick with it for a bit so that we can
Yeah.
get a good gauge on where we're
Yeah.
at and just plan around it.
Yeah.
You know?
The only thing that they need to, I'm not being more sensible about, but probably like did the head high stuff.
That
There's
was
head high and
what was that like? That would have been
There was
so
a head high
tough.
and there's a head high.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
absolutely.
If you know what I mean, bro. If you hit their chest first and then
Yeah.
their head, like, okay, I understand if you knock someone out, I understand. See you later.
Yeah.
But you can see sometimes in a game, someone will tackle them and then it hits their chin and they, might get up a bit slow and then like 2 minutes later they get sent off.
It's
Come on, bro.
it's
You know what I
wild.
mean?
Yeah. They went a bit. They went not a bit. They went way too hard.
It was
on
the magic round. It was like,
Was everyone going? What is happening?
I think actually like maybe teams were like a bit like not like scared of like trying to make tackles because they were too worried about if if a guy ducked or something, he's going to hit him in the head. Or he's going to get sent off.
They wouldn't tackle as hard because
Yeah.
they're like constantly worried about. I mean, there were ones where guys were getting penalties if someone slipped and they were literally nearly close to the ground.
Yeah,
And getting done.
It's just common sense, I think.
Yeah, I hope hopefully that is fully
Yeah.
ironed
If they can
out
even
this
it
year.
out, it'd be fine.
Yeah, absolutely. And most players are on board. Like most players want to be protected.
Yeah,
and
100%.
safety.
But I actually think the later the games got on, like the year went on,
Yeah.
they got a lot better with it.
Yeah, I think so.
But
too.
early on, it was just like
Wow.
taking the piss on you, like
Yeah.
relax, go.
That was wild. Earlier on, absolutely. So what's the feeling for you personally going into this year? What's the goal for you personally?
Well, obviously, you just come off a pretty big operation, and
Yeah.
I think I left a lot of stones unturned last year, and I started the season pretty good, and I want to be able to maintain that for the whole season. So that's what I want to do, and obviously go to another level, and that's the plan. And obviously, my shoulder's all good now, and
Yeah.
I'll be black paying round one.
Yep.
Just got to fix a few things and just get better, bro. And
Yep.
as I said, just leave what I wanted to leave out there.
Yeah. What was it like playing your first game at the new stadium? Because you would have been a part of the first game
Yeah.
there? What was that like?
Bro, mad.
Yeah.
Good. I think it was like, how many people was it hold? Like 35, maybe 33?
Yeah, maybe around the 30, yeah.
Unreal. And it was my birthday that day, actually.
Oh, really?
Too.
Fuck.
Um,
It was against the Tigers.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Mitch Moses scored that length of the
Lanes
field
would
try.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, that was a great day.
Yeah.
That was a great day.
It's a sick stadium, absolutely.
Yeah, good stadium. Very good.
Who's been the hardest player you've ever played, like tackling wise? Who's the hardest player to tackle?
Surprisingly, like littler guys are harder to tackle.
They move around
in a
a lot.
way. Like a Tedesco, he's very, very strong at the hips and that. You know what I mean? So
absolutely.
rather than like you get like a big bopper run at you,
Yeah.
it's like, well, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But he's not going to like sidestep you or
Yep.
well, he might, but not as much as what like a Dravojevic or something would do.
Yeah.
Like even him to tackle, like he's just a big, tall, lanky guy, but he's just ridiculously strong.
Yeah, absolutely.
So like I think some big boys are hard to tackle, but guys that are quick and strong, like them sort of boys are pretty hard to tackle.
Yeah, absolutely. Teddy looks like a nightmare. Every time you think there's like 4 players around him, and
Yeah, he's
still
just strong.
just
Just
crazy.
very strong.
I ask all the boys this: favorite rapper of all time?
Favorite rapper?
Yeah,
Probably can't pass like Eminem, something like
yeah,
that.
he's the goat.
Yeah.
Who you listen to right now? What artist?
I don't really like.
You're
I
not
don't
a
know,
music man.
I am a music man,
Yeah,
but I don't really have like
a favorite.
I'll just listen to random shit.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
So if we were to open your phone right now, what would we be listening to?
Whatever. Well, actually, my Spotify is cancelled at the moment.
Yeah, oh,
Forgot to
this
pay the bill.
Oh.
I went to go put the boombox on the other day, and it went onto the ad when I was in the
God.
gym, and the boy's like, "Are you fucking sweet?"
That's funny. That's funny.
I would have. Honestly, I've actually been listening to I can't remember his name. Is it a UK rapper? All I know is like,
Dave?
is it him?
Well, there's a Dave UK. There's Stormzy. He's a UK
Stormzy.
rapper.
Well, I remember there's one line. It's like Jordan 1s or Jordan
That's
4s.
Dave.
What's that?
That's Dave and Stormzy, I'm pretty sure.
Alright.
Yeah.
I don't know, I've been listening to that for some
Okay.
reason.
Okay, it's a good song.
It's just cool. I don't know.
It's a good song.
My
Good
mate was
song.
playing. I was like, oh, that sounds cool.
Favorite movie of all time?
Favorite movie? Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah, that's the guy.
Game over.
Leonardo DiCaprio has a gun.
Mate, I reckon I could watch that movie every day. I think actually last weekend got on the piss at home with the boys and like missus and he misses that and like, oh, let's watch a movie.
Yeah.
All right, Wolf of Wall Street.
100%. It's a great fight. It's
Actually.
such a good movie.
Yeah,
Such a good movie.
great movie.
If everything happens perfectly in the next 12 months, where are you and what are you doing?
At the World Cup.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
because the World Cup's on.
Yeah,
That would be sick.
that'd be good.
That would be sick. Bloody hell.
Yeah, something like that. That'd
At the
be
World Cup?
pretty good in the squad.
Who is the biggest pest that you play with? Who's number one? Because you look like you've got a lot of
Biggest
pests
pest. Biggest pest. Oh, no, he doesn't really say much actually. I don't know. Actually, don't know.
there. Really?
The biggest pest.
In a good way. In a lovable
good way.
way. A lot of energy.
Oh, Fergo.
Fergie
Bro.
Ferg.
He'd be running, like he'd take a tough carry,
Yeah.
and he'd get up and be like, "I'm fucking running at you all day," and I'm at hooker behind him, and I'm just cracking up, going, and he gets his face, bro. He's like, "Yeah." It's so funny, bro.
Mate, the great Fergie Ferg, the great Fergie Ferg. And you were just speaking earlier about, you know, some of the stuff you do with, you know, disadvantaged kids and autism. What got you into that? Because were you a teacher's aide for a bit?
Yeah, so I was like a teacher's aide, and then
Yeah.
one of the boys, or two of the boys, I think, were working at this school,
Yeah.
and like they'd always like they just said they loved it. Obviously, was paying them good, or whatever, but like just great relationship with the kids, and like obviously you meet parents and stuff like that. Obviously, because you're working with their kids, and then I just got asked to go work there one day, and I went, yeah, this is mad, full-time job, and just haven't looked back now. So.
Oh.
Yeah, it's just how it went. I think I worked there for a good year or so before I went up to full time.
Yeah.
But it was just one of those things that just grabs you, and you know what I mean. So
Yeah, just a relationship with the
Yeah,
kids and
yeah.
seeing them develop and everything like that.
yeah, it's really good. So
Mate, thank you so much for coming on, bro. Really do appreciate it. Good luck in the new year. I hope you boys can go a bit further. You've got the team to do it, that's for sure. But thanks for coming on, brother.
thanks, bro. No problem.
Boom.